Alright guys, we had a brand new update earlier today where they have added in a new SSR select banner for the memories. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to talk about all of the free memories that you can get in this game via Matchtrick Store, and then I'll move on to the new select banner to kind of talk about whether or not you actually want to summon on there, and if so, which memory do you want to prioritize getting. But let's start off with the Matchtrick Store because those are essentially the free ones that you can eventually get. Number one thing you want to bear in mind, however, first of all, is that you always want to buy out the milk voucher and the 4-star player first. And the reason for this is that this actually refresh every single month, whereas all of the memories, they're just a one-time purchase, okay? So if you miss out on the opportunity to buy one of those for one particular month, those are some resources you essentially have lost forever. So that's kind of why I always prioritize getting the milk voucher and 4-star player first before even considering about any of the memory. Now, out of all of the memories, the opposite header one is pretty bad. You can ignore that. It's just for improving receive, whereas vast majority of opposite header is more attacking focus. Setter one is also pretty bad. The stats is really low. It might be helpful in the future when we actually end up playing with multiple setters, or maybe your liberal also come in to do the sets, etc. But overall, the buff is able to provide just really low, so it's not really worth it either. The mid blocker one is a bit of a specialist one in the sense that it actually improves quick attack rather than blocking. So and that basically means unless you actually play the likes of Hinata or maybe Lief or Rinton sooner, otherwise this mid blocker memory is going to be of no use either, okay? But if you do actually happen to play one of those characters I did mention, then this can be a good choice if you're still lacking in memory, which is more quick spiking focus, okay? And then the two remaining one, which is going to be the Wind Spiker one and the Liberal one, both of them actually pretty decent, especially in consider to all of the other SSR memory, the character specific one. So if you do actually have some resources to pick up one of those memories, I'll probably highly recommend picking up either the Wind Spiker one or the Liberal one. And in terms of which one that you want to pick up, it's just going to be determined by which one or which position is the biggest gap in the memory on your team, okay? Now let's talk about the select banner. So first of all, I'm going to be honest, because the tickets that you'll be using to summon for this are going to be identical to be the ones that you are also going to summon for UR banners and also SP banners in the future. Vast majority of the time, you will be better off just summoning for SP memories because they have much higher raw stat. However, there are potentially only two memories that can potentially be interesting if you want something in a bit more short term rather than waiting for a long time for future UR or SP banners, okay? And the only two that I'm going to recommend out of this banner is going to be this one, mid blocker Washio, and also this one for SSR version of Akashi, okay? Those are going to be the only two memory I'm going to recommend. But I'm just going for completeness, I'm going to talk about all of the other memories and why I'm ruling them all out, okay? So let's start off with opposite header position. I'm going to rule out all four here for the very simple reason that once position limit updates here, it's very likely that you won't be even playing opposite header on your team anymore because opposite header just kind of get power cracked by other Wind Spiker now that you no longer are forced to play one of them on your team. So as a result, opposite header as a whole position are just going to go away, and there's just no reason why you want to summon for a memory for them, only for that entire position to disappear, okay? Then for the Wind Spiker and also the Liberal memory, I don't recommend summoning anything from those two positions either. There are two reasons for this. Number one reason is that depending on when you watch this video, but at time of recording, Komori is going to come out in 1 week's time, and if everything goes to plan, we should also have UR Bokuto coming into the game in 3 weeks' time as a rerun banner. And both of them are going to come with their own memory, which are going to be very universal. And there's just no reason why you want to summon for an SSR memory for that position when you can either, for example, get a Komori one for Liberal next week or get a UR Bokuto ones in 3 weeks' time, okay? So you might as well just skip any SSR memories here and just save out for those two memories instead. And then in a worst case scenario, let's say you only watch this video after all of those banners already finished, that's still fine. I already talked about at the start of the video, the ones that you can redeem from Matchtrick Store, the best ones out there are for the Wind Spiker and also Liberal position as well. So as a whole, even if you miss out on Komori and also you are Bokuto rerun, you can just pick up a very good one from Matchtrick instead, and there's just no reason why you want to waste your tickets here as well, okay? So that's kind of why for Wind Spiker and also Liberal, I'm just going to rule out those two positions altogether as well. Then for mid blocker and setter, I'm just going to pick one memory each from those positions, and like I said, the best one for mid blocker is going to be for Washio. Now this is possibly the best SSR memory for the fact that it just goes with the PvP meta as a whole, in the sense that as we get stronger and stronger character coming out, more characters are going to see some crazy amount of buff where they are able to guarantee every single spike to be critical. And that is just a general trend of how this game goes, okay? If you actually take a look at the meta right now, they're all very much crit focused. And Watchdogs memory actually have this ability where if the enemy spike is a critical spike, you end up doing a critical block. And that basically means that even though the raw stats is relatively low comparison to UR or SP memories, this effect is always going to be guaranteed to be triggered. And this effect itself can already bring you something crazy like a guaranteed 150% increase in your block power, because a critical block by default already have a base of 150%. Okay, so that's kind of what this is actually really nice. And also it's somewhat anti-power creep in the sense, like I said, as you get more stronger and stronger OP spikers in this game, really strong spikers in this game, your block are just going to get stronger and stronger by using this memory as well, okay? So that's kind of what this actually kind of goes with the general direction of the meta as well, and that's kind of what I do think is actually a very good memory to pick up if you just want a really good mid blocker memory in the short term, okay? And then for the second one, the one I'm going to recommend is going to be for this one for Akashi. First of all, it's very universal because non-phase effect. Well, I mean, the last part of the effect is only for Bokuto, but even if you ignore that, you already have a very nice effect, which is going to be universal. And that effect is basically able to restore stamina and also 8% attack technique. Now, yes, it has to be in Team Morale Awakening. However, if you play the UR Bokuto memory, it's actually going to be very easy for you to get into Team Morale Awakening because you will be staying there for longer as well, okay? So that's kind of what this definitely can see a lot of usage. Stamina is always going to be nice, okay? Not just for PvP, but also for PvE modes such as Club Contest, and also for some of the modes that we had earlier on, like last month, for those kind of Infinite Tower modes, stamina is always going to be massive. So this is already very good utility, which no other SSR memory can offer, I believe. And the attack technique is also one of the best buff that you can give in terms of offensive spike as well. Because right now in this game, if you remember my damage formula calculation, if you don't, then just search on my channel for that video. But basically, you want to get buff in across multiple different stats multiplier. And whilst we already have loads of ways to buff up someone's strength or crit damage, or loads of ways to buff up someone's power spike or quick spike, there are not actually that many ways to buff up someone's attack technique. And Akashi's memory are actually able to do that. So that's kind of what those two effects. Either one of them is already very good, and if you're able to get both of them together, yes, there's a trigger condition of Team Morale Awakening, but you can play around with that by using other memory as well. So that's kind of what overall I actually really like this memory, and I do recommend it for people who, especially for setter, there's also the other complication where a lot of the setter memory tend to be bespoke for them because they're a lot more like speciality driven. It's very rare you'll be using, like, say, a power setter's memory on a receive setter or block setter, right? So that's kind of why there could actually be a justification why you might want to pick up a universal setter memory if you actually want to frequently switch between different SP or UR setters in the future as well, okay? So that's kind of why I'm also going to recommend this one for anyone who wants a setter memory in short term as well, okay? But yeah, that's going to be the only two that I'm going to recommend out of this banner. Let me know what you guys think, and also whether or not you will be summing for any SSR memory at all.